Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Wednesday, October 19, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Denver Nuggets vs Utah Jazz. The Denver Nuggets enter the season with big expectations. They feature an experienced roster with star power led by Nikola Jokic. Last season ended with a quick first-round exit to Golden State, but they have the ability to be one of the best teams in the conference if they can stay healthy. The Nuggets are the favorite to win the division this year. Nikola Jokic enjoyed another dominating season in 2021 to 2022. The 27-year-old star has now won the MVP in back-to-back seasons. He recorded an average of 27.1 ppg, along with 13.8 rpg and 7.9 apg. The Joker led the NBA in double-doubles. He averaged a solid 25 ppg and 10.3 apg in 3 games against the Jazz last year. The Utah Jazz enters a rebuilding season. The squad won the division last year, but another disappointing playoff exit led to several roster changes. Utah has a new coach and former Celtics assistant coach Will Hardy. They traded star Donovan Mitchell to the Cavaliers and also sent defensive stud Rudy Gobert to Minnesota and received a whopping 4 first-round picks. The Jazz likely will not make the playoffs, and this year will be about development. Colin Sexton was the big name acquired in the Mitchell trade with Cleveland. The 23-year-old battled injuries last year and only played 11 games. Sexton averaged a solid 24.3 ppg in 2021 and will be relied upon heavily. Lauri Markkanen also arrived in the Mitchell trade. The veteran forward logged just under 15 ppg, along with 5.7 ppg last year. The Denver Nuggets have lofty expectations this season, now that star Jamal Murray along with Michael Porter Jr. is healthy. All of last year's stats are meaningless considering the major changes to the Utah Jazz roster. They traded away Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Bojan Bogdanovic. Furthermore, Utah is going to have trouble scoring enough points to stay in this game. They lost 3 of their top 4 scorers from last season. While they brought in Colin Sexton, the young point guard barely played last year due to injury and will probably take some time to find a groove. The Jazz defense will take a step back considering they traded defensive stalwart Rudy Gobert. Denver is a legit contender and should take this one by double digits. Our team pick is Denver Nuggets minus 7.5 points. Both of these teams were ranked top 10 in scoring average last season, with the Jazz averaging 113.6 points per game and the Nuggets averaging 112.7 points per game. Each of them also ranked top 10 with points allowed, with the Jazz allowing 107.6 points per game and Denver allowing 110.4 points per game. These teams have a fast-paced flow and both have good height in the interior, which matches their offensive styles of driving to the basket and playing inside the three-point line. During the preseason, Markkanen proved his size to be an asset in the interior when he scored 21 points and grabbed 10 rebounds against the Mavericks. With a solid all-around player like Jokic with Denver and a beast on the interior, I predict this being a high-scoring affair with Denver sneaking out with a lead. Our total pick is over 219. Portland Trail Blazers vs Sacramento Kings. The 27-55 Portland Trail Blazers finished the 2021-22 season at the 13th spot in the West, missing the playoffs for the first time since 2013. They were dead last in the league in defensive efficiency, yielding 116.9 points per 100 possessions. Also, Portland's defense ranked 28th in both field goal percentage, 47.9%, and three-point percentage, 37.1%, so the Trailblazers will have to improve a lot this time around if they want to return to the postseason. Portland signed Gary Payton II in the offseason, and the 2022 NBA champ with the Golden State Warriors should boost the Trailblazers' defense. The Blazers also traded for Jerami Grant, who averaged 19.2 points and 4.1 rebounds with the Detroit Pistons last regular season. Grant is not a top-notch defensive stopper, but he's capable of guarding multiple positions. The Sacramento Kings haven't appeared in the postseason since 2006, posting the longest playoff drought in NBA history. They went 30-52 in 2021-22, finishing at the 12th spot in the Western Conference, 4 games behind the number 10 seed that led to the play-in tournament. The Kings were scoring 109.9 points per 100 possessions, 25th in the NBA, while surrendering 115.3 in a return, 27th. Sacramento acquired Mike Brown in the offseason, hoping the 2009 NBA Coach of the Year will help the Kings to finally break their hoodoo. Brown spent the last 7 years as an assistant coach at Golden State, winning 3 championships in that span. The Kings went through the preseason unbeaten and trounced the Trail Blazers 126-94 as 2.5-point home favorites 10 days ago. In 3 of their 4 preseason outings, the Kings have held their rivals below a 95-point mark, while the Trail Blazers have dropped 4 of their 5 preseason contests, including a 118-101 defeat to Utah and a heavy 131-98 loss at Golden State. Sacramento went 2-1 SU and ATS against Portland in 2021-22. The Kings will try to play tough defense under Mike Brown, so I'm backing them to start the new season on a high note and give their fans something to cheer for. Both Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons are defensive liabilities, and the Trail Blazers will have a tall task to improve their defense in 2022-23. Our team pick is the Sacramento Kings minus 1.5 points. Portland is coming off its worst year in more than a decade, and yet, there's more hope than one would expect from a team that was tanking for a high lottery pick just a few months ago. The Blazers set fire to their roster and front office, hiring former basketball operations intern Joe Cronin as general manager and overhauling the playing rotation with new faces. Joining star shooting guard Damian Lillard in Portland are two-way forward Jerami Grant, who arrived via trade with the Detroit Pistons, and ex-Golden State Warriors guard Gary Payton II, who signed with the team this off-season and brings a defensive edge to the lineup. The Blazers added versatile Kentucky wing Sheeton Sharp with their first-round draft pick, a high-ceiling prospect with a skill set they would like to sharpen as quickly as possible. Like Portland, Sacramento is in a rebuild of sorts with a new head coach in Mike Brown and a few exciting roster additions, including first-round selection Keegan Murray out of Iowa. The overhaul began with the trade of young guard Therese Halliburton for power forward Domantas Sabonis, who posted a solid line of 18.9 points, 12.1 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game last season. The Kings then dipped into the free agent market for shooting guard Kevin Huerter, who attempted 5.6 three-pointers per game and shot 38.9% from behind the arc last season for the Atlanta Hawks. The Blazers are a work in progress, and I believe that will show on Wednesday night. Key rotation players Jusuf Nurkic and Nasser Little are coming off injuries, Payton II will miss the start of the season, and Simons and Lillard both ended last season on the injured list. Sacramento could also be without Murray, who flashed in the NBA Summer League, 23.3 points, 7.2 rebounds, 50% from the field, and 40% from 3, and earned MVP honors. With all the excitement that the new season brings, I expect there to be some sloppy play at times throughout the evening, too. New squads take the floor for both franchises, but are either ready to light up the scoreboard. Our total pick is under 225. Dallas Mavericks vs Phoenix Suns. The Dallas Mavericks don't have the most talent, but they get a lot out of what they have. That was on full display last year as they finished 52-30, fourth in the Western Conference, and then advanced to the Western Conference Finals by upsetting the Suns in 7 games. They lost to the eventual NBA champion Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, but all in all, it was a very successful first-year coach Jason Kidd. Can they get back there this year and maybe take it to the next level? Let's take a look at the 2022-23 Mavericks. The team starts and ends with superstar Luka Doncic. He had a strong case to be NBA MVP as he dragged his pretty average team, talent-wise, to the Western Conference Finals. The Phoenix Suns can't call last season anything else but disappointing, despite the fact they won a ridiculous 64 games last season, by far the most in the NBA. But coming off a season where they had gone to the finals the year before, losing to the Bucks, anything short of another finals appearance would be a disappointment. And they bowed out in the second round to these Mavericks, so, suffice it to say, it has been a long off-season. So, what has changed from those 64-18 Suns? Let's take a look. The offseason had some drama with center DeAndre Ayton, who was in trade talks, and it was also marred by the fine and suspension of owner Robert Sarver by the league for inappropriate workplace conduct. Sarver is now selling his stake in the team. It has been a really long offseason for the Phoenix Suns, who were the biggest disappointment in last year's playoffs. They have had about 5 months to stew on the fact that these Mavericks ended their dream season in the second round, well short of their goal and most people's expectation of an NBA championship. The long journey to get back there starts here, and it is hard to duplicate that kind of success, so they may not make it back. But in this game, I love their chances. There is no way they are losing this game. The whole team is back practically, and they are home with that bad taste in their mouth from last year. This one is a no-brainer, take the Suns giving up the points. Our team pick is Phoenix minus 4.5 points. Christian Wood, who led Houston in scoring and rebounding last season, will give Dallas a much-needed additional scoring option and solid rebounder. Dallas hopes that Wood will be more than a sufficient replacement for Kristaps Porzingis, who was traded away last season. Spencer Dinwiddie, who last season was acquired at the trade deadline from Washington, will likely step in to replace Brunson. The free agent signing of McGee gives Dallas a solid frontline presence. McGee played well last season for Phoenix and could push Dwight Powell for a starting position. Rookie Jalen Hardy was grabbed with the 37th overall pick after dropping because of problems related to shooting, but is expected to see minutes early. Or the Mavericks, the re-signing of Ayton during the offseason was a huge success for Phoenix, as the Suns wanted to keep as many of the top players from last season's roster. Devin Booker, who is just 26, is expected to once again be the leading scorer for Phoenix, while Chris Paul returns as the court general for Phoenix. Last season, Paul finished third in the NBA in assists, with an average of 8.3 per game. JaVale McGee is gone, but the Suns have Bismack Biyombo and newcomers Lee and Okogie. Last season Phoenix was rated third in overall defensive rating behind just Golden State and Boston, while Dallas was sixth. The Suns finished the season allowing an average of 107.3 points per game, which was ninth in the NBA, and Dallas finished second, allowing an average of 104.7 points per game. The total has finished under in 4 of Phoenix's last 5. The total has also finished under in 4 of the last 5 games overall between Dallas and Phoenix. Our total pick is under 216.5 points.